Maybe you should go and do some contemplating.
Right reasons, right reasons. Me and pretty girl for all the right reasons. Right reasons, right reasons. Me and pretty girl for all 4 seasons.
I'm the Bachelorette and I'm rapping to you poolside. Here to find true love, one man for my whole life.
Hi.
Three, two, one, and...
Hi, this is Rachel McElroy.
Hi, this is Griffin McElroy.
And this is Rose Buddies.
This is the only podcast. It's the only podcast. And you think I'm fucking lying. Look at your app. They're all gone. You're welcome to Night Vales, your cereals. I don't even know if that one's going right now. This American Life, This American Bye, it's gone. Because they up and deleted all of them.
Stuff you shouldn't know anymore.
Stuff you'll never, ever know is what they changed the name of it to, and it's only on the deep web. Because everybody heard this Bachelorette Canada game so strong, and they were like, gotta get out the industry. Click. Ira Glass. Click.
Surely there's not room for anyone else anymore.
There's not. There's certainly not room for other Bachelorette Canada podcasts.
Because this couple in Austin, Texas is talking about a show in Canada that hundreds of people watch.
Canada, the Austin of Earth. That's a new fun catchphrase. Is it? It is a little bit
complicated.
So on Rose Buddies, we talk about the Bachelor, Bachelorette family of products, and this week we're talking about Bachelorette Canada, which you should not hate on the viewership of. We do not have those types of numbers. We just assume it's not as big as the American one, so nobody watches it. Because if you don't get American eyes,
it will be.
It will be if we have anything to fucking say about it.
Well, and if wonderful hosts like Noah. And fantastic bachelorettes like Jasmine have anything to say about it.
These two. Noah, we've given some shit, and I don't even think it's shit. We've just said he died in a bus crash or something, and now he's a ghost.
We just said that he's more ghost than human.
Right. He did such a good job at this Men Tell All. It is such a, by the way, we're talking about Men Tell All for Bachelorette Canada. Sees S1, E10. And I know we've given him some shit, but this is a tough job. Doing the Men Tell All, and he locked it the fuck down.
Let me just give you a stat that shows what a pro he is. And this would have been enough here.
Did you count how many times he was touched by a corporeal object or person?
No, I'm saying that episode starts, he welcomes us, and within the first 2 minutes, he says journey twice, happily ever after, and hot seat. Like, that would have been enough. He could have been like, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
That's everything. You just came here to watch a person on TV.
Started out. Yeah. 2 minutes already hit all the keywords.
Absolutely.
And then just wouldn't let up.
Do you think that Chris Harrison is doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire now just because he got so obsessed with the idea of putting people into hot seats? Like he just has this fetish now of putting people in seats where they are under a lot of stress to perform?
I think there's something about this show that makes you good under pressure, and I think maybe he got addicted to that high.
Maybe. I think he just likes putting people in dangerous chairs. I think starting out before he was a host, he worked at a death row somewhere, and he did the electric chairs.
He worked at a death row somewhere and did the electric chairs.
And he did the electric chairs, and he would put people in them and be like, "How's that seat?" He would say. Pretty stressful seat, isn't it? That's his character.
Okay.
Kind of like the bad guys in Green Mile. You know who I'm talking about.
You know what? I've never seen the Green Mile.
I know. We've talked about this. You don't like jail movies because you get so scared.
No, I like Shawshank Redemption.
You don't like Shawshank Redemption. You just think all these people.
I've seen all of Orange is the New Black.
That's true. So the men told it all. You would think they would keep some of it to themselves, but no, they were very generous with it. And this was a good Men Tell All, dude. First of all, 45 minutes in and fucking out. Hey, America, you watching?
It was efficient.
Hey, ABC, you watching? You watching that W network? Because they've got it figured out.
A lot of people on that stage wouldn't even hear from.
No.
No,
it's fine, though.
Didn't need to.
Some of them we heard from a little too much.
Yeah.
A lot of familiar faces up there. We got JP, the naked boy. We got Thomas. So seductive.
Thomas with the hair toss. He knows what we want.
We got David, who got about 14 seconds screen time.
Yeah.
And Kyle, my boy Kyle, my big, tall, just beautiful
Kyle.
planetary man. Just
Kyle,
fucking
like, worked in a joke real
dunked
quick.
on David so hard. Because we'll get to it, but like so much fun. Can I say something that is very fucked up?
Okay.
I'm gonna miss this show.
Me too.
And the cast.
I'm gonna
of it.
miss these people.
I've never felt that about, and I don't know if it's because we have crossed some
it's because
ethical.
they talk to us directly.
We've crossed an ethical boundary that
I think so.
we haven't really discussed. Where like everybody on this show, if you were on this show in any regard, there are extras on this show who are now members of the Facebook community.
Hey, Canada, I have a question for Canada. Are you going to stay with us when we leave you? Or are you going to go away?
What do you mean? Like,
We have a lot of Canadian friends now, and I'm worried
yeah.
they're going to leave us when we leave them.
I don't know. Ours isn't voluntary. You know, like if this show kept a running, and I'm sure it will. I mean, there's going to be other seasons.
I hope
but,
we
like,
can just ping pong back and forth.
Ooh, that would be nice. But here's the other thing, babe. I've had such a great experience here. I kind of want to give other countries a chance. I kind of want to dip into Bachelor Australia.
I've heard a lot of good things about Australia.
Because Bachelor Australia also has the 2 women contestants who fell in love, and like that's so dope. And like I want to see that. You know, Bachelor is about to get up in Japan.
I don't think, though. I think the side of the story we got is, they fell in love. But I don't think the show was taped as such. And what I think would be fun to watch is their love story, but that's not what the show was. So it's
But
not like...
you can see it. You can see it. You read between the lines.
I don't know.
I mentioned Bachelor is coming to Japan, which I'm very excited about. I just wanted to holler at every single person in the Rose Buddies group who recommended Terrace House to me and Rachel.
We've watched a little bit, and we already love it.
Oh my God, Terrace House.
It's on Netflix.
Terrace
and
House,
it's-
Boys and Girls in the City. And it's like, I am with you. I also live in Terrace House.
What is great about Terrace House is they have this cadre of real-time watchers on a couch.
Which is very like Japanese programming. Like that is not uncommon. Like having a crew of people who like talk and comment on stuff
But
as
what they'll
things are
do
happening.
is they'll show like maybe 7 minutes, and then they'll cut to the peanut gallery, and the peanut gallery adds so much value.
They're so good. It's like 6 funny adults and one 14-year-old
14-year-old boy
prince who like this 14-year-old boy king who like nobody knows why he's there, and they only ask him from time to time like, so what did you think of that scene? He's like, I'm just under so much pressure. And it's like he's so cute.
Well, and sometimes they'll be like, I really don't like how that cast member said that, and he'll be like, I totally
I did
like it.
that. I like the bad ones. It's like, damn, Boy King, I like your shit. Terrace House,
Anyway,
Boys and
Terrace
Girls
House.
in the City. I want to talk about it. I know we have a lot of other stuff we could do, like after this is over and we hit the weird period where we've just had a baby and I don't know what we're doing with the
And
podcast.
it's like the holidays and everything. Yeah.
But I just I can't not tell people not to watch Terrace House.
Yeah, 2 seasons on Netflix. Check it out.
We've gone for 8 minutes and we haven't talked about anything that's happened on the show.
Okay.
That's fine. It's going to be short, right? It was a short little episode. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, so the way Men Tell All works, if you're just joining us, is that there's a lot of clips. I would say like 40% of the show is just clips from the season you've been watching.
It was weird because it's a short episode, right? This was 45 minutes. And also they were recapping things from 9 episodes. That's how long the season has been. This is episode 10 of
But I
the
will
first
say
season.
there was stuff we forgot.
I mean, there was stuff that I tried very hard to forget, like the Seth kiss and, well, a few kisses that just didn't quite make it across the 100-yard line into the touchdown zone. They started to be kisses. They started to be real touchdown kisses, and then it was.
What is a touchdown kiss?
You know, like a kiss that happens, but like not if you have Jasmine at the 90-yard line. Like, no, this kiss is not going to the touchdown.
Are you talking about when Chris didn't get the smooch?
He got that shit shut down.
For? Yeah.
Shut down.
Yeah. So we get some of the big moments. And Noah starts in right away, kind of asking, like, what was that about? Which is what I'll call this segment.
What's that about?
So first we see Seth with the awful kiss that
Such a
Jasmine
bad
did
kiss.
not like. And so Noah is like, hey, Seth, what was that about? And Seth is like, oh, I was really nervous and I felt really pressured. I don't normally move so quickly to the kiss, but I did in this moment, and that's what you were seeing. And then we see David do the top that moment where he performs a song and then like stands up to all the other guys and is like, hey, guys, top that. And Noah's like,
He was
hey, David, what's that about?
He was so equivocal even now where Noah asked the hard fucking questions, y'all. He put the tax to these boys and like was like, David, so were you here to promote your music or did you actually come here to find love? He's like, I just love music so much. Like performing for people makes me so happy. It's like bad answer, bud.
Yeah, he could have said, no, I was here for Jasmine. But instead he's like, well, I really like music.
Singing for people makes me happy. And this was when Kyle had his great fucking goof because
Yeah.
David was like, but I just wanted to know, like, I apologize and I wish I could get it through to her. And Kyle was like, and so I've prepared a song. It's good shit.
Yeah, he could feel the tension in the room as David is kind of fumbling the response, and he just comes right in and says, all right, let's see that song. And a 1 and a 2.
It was
and
good.
It was good. It was very good.
We love Kyle. There was a boy I didn't remember named Andrew who always had to get a fucking hand on the ball. Always had to get in there and just let me put Andrew's stamp on this one.
Andrew was somebody that stuck around but added almost nothing, and we didn't know anything about him. And then tonight he really wanted to bring
He was very
bring some energy.
Scut Farkas's crony from Christmas Story.
Yeah, well, there's one every
There is,
man
yeah,
or woman
sure.
tell all who shows up and is like, I'm an important cast member, and you're like, were
No,
you?
you're not.
Yeah, he really wanted to play a big role. And so what happened was they started talking about this Toronto clique that formed, which included Drew and some of the more kind of alpha males, as they call them. And so Noah is asking about this Toronto clique, and Andrew decides to pipe up and say, oh, yeah, well, I mean, it's like anything, you're just drawn to people that have, the same interests, like some men aren't going to cry on national TV.
And Chris is like, why would you even... And while he's talking, Andrew leans over with a Kleenex and tries to hand it to him. And this joke, y'all, like, nothing... It was so fucking brutal. Like, he leans over to hand it to him, and, like, everybody has sort of the same response, which is like, really, dude? Really, dude?
Well, yeah, and Noah's like, is it funny? Like, is it funny? Is it really a joke?
You say you're
If,
joking, but, like,
it's not
you try to
funny?
hand him a Kleenex, and he's like, I don't think that's funny. Is it still a joke? And it just cuts to Andrew, who's just sitting stone-faced, like, oh, no, my
And
joke
then
was
they go
bad.
to a break.
Yeah.
That was it.
It was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
They laid this dude low. And, like,
no place for hate on Men Tell All.
no, Noah creates a very safe environment.
It's true.
Except for Andrew, who got fucking destroyed.
Well, you know what it is? I think it's because Noah's a sensitive guy,
Yeah.
and he's not gonna put up with this bro club.
Yeah. I mean, when the moon is waxing for 15 days, he's a ghost. That's the only way I can...
Okay.
That's the only way I can sort of rationalize it.
So Supermoon.
Oh my God, I guess he was very corporeal. He was the most here he's ever been.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So then we come back from the break, and it is Drew's turn. And let me say, Drew is wearing some denim jeans and a white sport coat, and I just thought, have a little respect,
for the process.
Drew. Everyone here is in a nice suit.
Drew does not do a very good villain performance.
No, at first he comes out and he's like, yeah, people, some people hate me, some people love to hate me, and at first you're kind of like, okay, this is what villains say.
Yeah.
You're doing it right. But then Noah kind of asks him, like, you can't fake, you can't edit this. You can't fake that everybody genuinely wanted to know whether you were there to find love or not.
Well, he also said we can't edit around some of this stuff that you said.
Yeah.
We can't edit around you going to the producer and being like, seriously? And it made me wonder if Drew had like said some shit
On
about like
Twitter
it was
or
a bad
something. Yeah.
edit. But Drew was like, no, I did say all that stuff, but I hit a point where I just didn't feel like she liked me, and so after that point, I was just there to help my career.
Well, and yeah, and the pettiest part was that Drew was like, I won 2 group dates, and when other guys won group dates, they got one-on-one time with her, but I didn't like get hardly anything at all, you know, and it was just clear she wasn't into me.
In Drew's defense, the group date rewards this season were all over the fucking place. It's like, oh, you won the football game. Come with me to this cabin for 3 straight days. And one of them is like, oh, you won the football game. Well, everybody is going to come and I'm not going to spend time with you, despite the fact that you specifically won I'm going to give the rose to somebody else and I'm going to go on a date with everybody else but you.
Yeah, that's true. But you don't complain about it. You know?
You just apparently stay on the show out of spite.
On Bachelorette, you're not allowed to hate the player or the game.
No.
That's just the rule.
No, because if you do, you've lost.
And you look petty, and that's how he looked. But yeah, Drew is just makes it clear, like, I was trying, and I was here to find love until Morocco. Morocco is when I stopped trying. And while he's saying this, Chris is making all these faces.
And immediately he turns to Chris and he's like, "Why you look like you took 6 Adderall and now you're looking at me weird." And
Yeah.
he says that, and like no laughter, no response. It's so many, like, nobody's buying it. Nobody wants any of the nastiness. It was this beautiful utopia that they've created at this Men Tell All, where like the nasty boys try to like say a mean joke, and everybody's like, "Ooh." Which like it is the polar fucking opposite from this last Men Tell All when Rod shows up and is like fart noise, and everybody's like, "Give him a show, give him 2 shows."
I know.
Like nobody was fucking having it.
This is a key cultural difference between our great land and the great nation of
But
Canada.
the thing about Drew is Drew also kept apologizing. He apologized for the shit he said. He apologized to Chris. He apologized.
Yeah, but nobody like
Jasmine,
knew whether
but,
to believe him.
Yeah, everybody was like, I don't know if that's true or not, but okay.
Yeah. And so the camera kind of shoots to Chris because Chris is like having a little fit about Drew's reactions, and Chris is like, well, you just keep changing your story. It doesn't make any sense. Like at first you're saying I was there to find love, but then you're saying, well, but then I stopped trying and then I was there for myself. And like what you're saying now doesn't match with what you told Jasmine. And then Drew does this weird moment where he was like, well, I mean, like, are you really going to go on national TV to find love? Like,
Yeah, that was because Noah asked him, like, so do you really want to be the next Bachelor? And he's like, yeah, because like it would be cool to like have 20 girls just like try to, you know, come in, and but at the same time, like, there's this thing that's like, are you really going to go on TV to find love? And it's like, yeah, dude. Like, are you really going to go on Survivor to try and find idols and vote people? Yes. Are you really going to be on a TBS basketball broadcast to play basket? Yeah, that's what you would. I think that's actually what you would.
it's like he wants to be part of the machine, but then also wants to be above the machine, you know, like, oh, I want to be the Bachelor. Sure. Who wouldn't? But then I'd be the Bachelor, and oh, is that cool? I don't know. Is that okay?
It was this weird melange of villains got a vil typical bullshit mixed with what seemed like sincere apology, or at least like feigned apology, which is still like you're going on TV and, you know, apologizing a lot, and like mixed messaging, just like not knowing the right thing to.
Yeah, which is why people don't know whether they can trust his apologies, because clearly he hasn't figured out whether or not he's sincere.
And then they do a bit with Drew and Chris, like diving into that sweet drama again. And Chris explains that the beef for him started with this altercation that was not on TV.
This little behind the scenes peek.
So try to try to recap it. After a rose ceremony, the boys hadn't like cleared the set yet, and some of them started eating craft services off this table. And somebody on the crew came up and said, "Hey, if you guys are going to eat that, please leave some for the crew because that's technically their dinner. And Drew apparently freaked the fuck out on them. And so, like, there was a lot of discussion about this, more than you usually get about anything that wasn't on camera. Because typically, like,
Drew owned up to it.
Oh, Drew owns up to it. And, like, if it happens off camera, typically this show pretends it doesn't fucking happen.
Yeah.
The fact that Chris Harrison brought up Rod, like, shitting on the hotel staff during Bachelor in Paradise is, like, that kind of stuff, no joke, is, like,
that was unprecedented.
Because when you bring that stuff up, it breaks the magic.
Yeah.
Of thinking that you're seeing into these people's, like, real lives. But they talk about it for a while, and, like, Chris claims that he's, like, cussing these guys out, cussing out the crew, this one particular crew person.
Down to them.
And talking down to them. And Drew's like, no, I didn't. I hadn't eaten for 7 hours, and I saw this food, and I said, we don't get paid to be here, which is, I guess, true?
It is true, yeah. Contestants don't get money for being on the show.
That's crazy. And you guys do so, and I haven't eaten in 7 hours, so I'm going to eat your food. And then somebody was like, and then you told them to shut their fucking mouth or something like that. And Chris stepped up to him and was like, hey, don't talk to this person, don't belittle this person. And that is apparently where the beef started, which is like, now it makes sense. Remember, like, this fight lasted
all of a sudden,
3, 4, 5 episodes, and
all of a sudden there was beef between them.
It came out of fucking nowhere, and it's because Chris, like, said, like, hey, don't fucking berate this person while they're doing their job.
Well, and here was what was interesting, is that Drew kind of owns up to it, but he doesn't agree at first with the way it's being portrayed. And then when the guys corroborate on Chris's story, Drew's like, well, it shouldn't have been Chris that said something to me.
Yeah, he said, Chris said, you don't talk to people like that. Shut your mouth. And he said that you don't do that to me in front of, like, 15 alpha males. That term was used so many fucking times this episode. It made my skin crawl. My skeleton started to, like, come. You saw that, like, out of my right arm. My skeleton was like, "Oh, is it okay out here?" I was like, no, it's not okay out here. He said you shouldn't have done that in front of a bunch of alpha males. And so Noah's like, so what was the right way for him to tell you to stop berating a crew member on the show? And he said, you go and you get Kyle. And you tell Kyle to stop.
Kyle can tell me that.
Kyle can tell me that. You're not, because you're not that guy. And it's like, dude, you just set up Chris to dunk on you. And sure enough, Chris is like, if I see somebody being shitty to somebody like that, I'm going to say something, whether it's televised or not, and, like, standing ovation. Like, Drew, you fucked this up so bad. First of all, that behavior, like, sucks. That's crazy. Like, you corroborated it. Basically, everybody else did. So it sounds like you were a fucking nightmare.
If anybody's going to tell me anything, it's only going to be the 7-foot-tall man.
Yeah, the big alpha males. And it also makes me think that, like, that temper tantrum he threw after getting kicked off that I thought was, like, straight up, kayfabe. It sounds like, no, he was actually kind of a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And to like own up to that, and then let Chris come in and be like, step in like he's Batman, like, hey, how's your rivalry? Pretty bad, I think.
Yeah, there's a point while you're watching the mental all where you kind of see on Drew's face that this has gone horribly wrong, and he knows, like, there's no redeeming myself now.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, Drew tries to apologize to Chris. And he's like, hey, I watched the show. I didn't know you took it this hard. I'm sorry. And I really didn't mean for it to be that way.
Talking about when Chris tattled on Drew and then had, like, a emotional breakdown after that, Drew was like, I'm sorry you took that so hard. I wouldn't have gone so hard.
And then there's this weird moment where it does seem like Drew is being sincere. And so Chris is like, I thank you, I can't always tell, but I sense now, that you're being genuine. And then,
as he says genuine, Drew, like, almost like he's correcting him.
Says genuine again, but maybe Chris didn't say it right.
Or maybe, like, he thought he was extending this olive branch, and because Chris didn't accept it fucking at face value, he was being, like, rude or something like that. But it was just like, yeah, man, it's like, I can't tell if you're being genuine. And Drew's just like, genuine. And Chris was like, sorry, what was that? And Drew, almost like he felt bad for getting caught. He was like, nothing, man, go ahead. And fucking Andrew behind him was like,
Yeah.
Get him, man, get him.
They pull away to go to break, but everybody's still mic'd, and you can hear Noah and Chris kind of debriefing what just happened.
This was weird.
Noah's like, oh man, it's uncomfortable, right? And Chris is like, yeah, there's always all this like laughter and jokes happening, and it's like you can't tell what's going on. Like, is everybody else seeing this? And Noah's like, yeah, everybody else is seeing this.
This is like while the camera's panning away, like going to a Canadian Charmin commercial or something.
So then we come back from break, and this is the Lonely Hearts edition
Oh, boy.
of the show, where you're going to see Thomas, you're going to see Kevin, and you're going to see Benoit, and you're going to see all of them have their hearts smashed.
You know, and everyone's doing their best. I thought it was weird that Kevin got included in here, because theirs was such a, like...
It was so amicable.
This was the scholars on the mount, just like...
Yeah.
I don't want you. I don't want you either. Okay.
Yeah, like they have like a high level discussion about why they are not compatible.
And that's it. And then, like, no tears.
Yeah.
She just abandons him to die. She gives him a Tibetan sky burial, and, like, that's it.
Yeah, and so Thomas gets, like, a few seconds, and Thomas is like, yeah, I was surprised by how much I felt for her, you know? And I remember, you know, after our first date, going back to my room and just being like, wow, I really feel things for this person.
The hardest one, the saddest one was actually Benoit.
Yeah.
Because you remember he was a goobus. And he actually apologized for like how...
Yeah, because remember, so he was really like sexually aggressive with her.
Yeah.
And he watched it back and was like, I am really embarrassed and I'm really sorry for that.
He was like, he was too handsy and he would always want to make out.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, I didn't want to be like the drunk guy that like, you know, was pushing myself on her.
And they showed like the bit where he got sent home, and it was the things he was saying were so sad.
Yeah, like he seemed to like really like Jasmine and
not know what to do with that energy.
Yeah, be kind of like watched himself back, like, oh my gosh, I am not coming across the way I thought I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jasmine, who shows up later in the episode, like talks to him about it. It's like, that wasn't why I sent you home.
Yeah.
She said, I like your passion, and it's like, you can't have liked like his tongue as much as he gave it, like so much, so plentiful.
Yeah.
So generous with the tongue. Yeah. Was there anybody else in the heartbreak squad?
Well, no, we go to Mike next.
Oh, yeah, Mike, king of the...
Mike, so this is where the clips really paid off, because I remember, Griffin, you and I were really like, we were Team Mike at the beginning, and then by the end, I couldn't really figure out why we were.
I remembered why. He was a sweet, funny boy who can do the cool bubble pop thing with his mouth, and he has a 10-pack.
But, well, yeah, no, I know, but it was more than that. You know, like, when we got to watch the clips back, I saw, like, they did have this kind of sweet understanding between them that seemed really comfortable.
Yeah.
And watching those clips, I was like, oh, yeah, like, that's what I was rooting for.
Yeah. Yeah,
but Mike seems to have a lot of self-awareness now, because when he's talking to Noah, he's like, yeah, it's tough for me to open up and be vulnerable, and I recognize that may have been part of it, and there's nothing I can do about it now, but it's hard for me not to think that must have had something to do with it when she let me go.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need to be better about that. Like, I recognize that now. It was very, like, he seemed like he learned a lot from this experience.
Yeah,
which
sure.
Some people in the Rose Buddies group, and I see where they're coming from, like, is he the next Canadian Bachelor? I don't know.
God, I hadn't even thought about that.
Well, it depends also
because we don't know
gets,
how they do it. This is the first season of Bachelorette. We don't know how they're going to...
How have they been finding their bachelors before?
Fucking Craigslist.
What would that ad look like, Griffin?
Want to date 30 people at once.
Not even 30, probably. Probably
Want
less.
to date 12 people at once. I
like helicopters.
Love helicopters. Have been hurt before. Not sure if I'm ready, but willing and toned? Question mark? Yes, period.
Have strong feelings about provinces in Canada?
Strong provincial feelings. Anything else? I think that's it. I mean, but that's not, I mean, what would be on Jasmine's Craigslist listing?
I know.
If it would have to be a novella of just floral descriptions of traits you don't even know that you need on your television show.
Wait, are you saying to get Jasmine
On the show.
when they were? Oh, okay. So when they were trying to find Bachelorette,
Right.
they had to write the kind of description that only occurs once in a lifetime.
Once in a galaxy of stars.
So Mike is the first person to get to share time, like talking directly to Jasmine, because Jasmine comes out and
Hugs Noah, and it's like, it's pretty corporeal. It's like really...
well, it's the supermoon.
It is the supermoon. Okay. Yes, yes. They probably didn't shoot this.
Gives him power.
Definitely didn't shoot this yesterday, though.
No, I know. Well, maybe in Canada the supermoon comes earlier.
Oh, maybe. It's closer to the top of the Earth.
I don't think that makes
Oh,
sense.
no. Come on. It might be.
I mean, I'm not an astronomer. Maybe.
Nobody is.
No, yeah. Hey.
Yeah, hey.
Nobody is.
Yeah. That's like some old school Galileo shit. We know everything we're ever going to know about the planets.
And the planets that aren't planets anymore.
Right. Right. Like, not in my backyard.
Remember when America had time to be outraged about things
About anything.
that were just like planets that weren't planets anymore?
I mean,
Like,
that's a pretty fucking good thing to be outraged about, right? There's 8 planets. What the fuck? They're planets. They're so big and so far away. You don't get to... That one's not a planet. It's a billion years away. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But this cup used to be red. That's what they're angry about now. This cup's all red. Where'd it go?
is the dress white and gold or blue and
Blue and
black?
gold. I don't know. Anyway, that's not the sun anymore. What? That's a way bigger deal than my cup is new and I hate it. Right?
Now I don't know what we're talking about. What
The
is this
Starbucks cup? Everybody gets so fucking angry about the fucking Starbucks
yeah.
cup. And it's like that. To
I guess
me,
you're right. We do still have time to be angry
small
about
fry
dumb
shit.
things. Yeah.
Saying that Pluto's not a planet is a huge deal. Because it's a planet.
I don't know.
Earth's not a planet anymore.
Doesn't impact my day to day.
Oh, well, that's a nice life you live. I'm just over here stressing about the planets all the time. We have fewer planets now. The number of we are experiencing planetary loss.
Do you get up every day and just check and make sure the planets are still planets now?
Yeah, I get on NASA.com, NASA.gov, and it's like,
Don't go to NASA.com. Who knows what
who
happens
knows
there?
what's there? And it's like the people at NASA are just like, we are thinking real hard about Jupiter. It's like, it's the biggest one. It is a planet as Saturn's mostly gas, so who fucking knows? Maybe it's another star. What? The asteroid belt is now 1 billion little planets. That's crazy. You can't do that.
I'm surprised at how confident you are talking about space. I would be nervous to say anything at all because I feel
Hey,
like
my very energetic mother just served us 9 pizzas. Well, no. Just served us nuggets. Nougat.
Nuts.
Just served us nuts. It's not. Anyway.
So Jasmine and Mike talk. And Mike just immediately gets to the question because Noah cues him up and says, "What do you want to ask her?" And Mike says, "Well, I didn't say that I loved you. Was that what was going on?" And Jasmine's like, "Oh, well, no. Like, I wouldn't have ever wanted you to say that you loved me if you weren't ready." And this is when Mike, like...
Mike was like, well, too bad because I loved you and I still love you.
Yeah, like, I love you and you're a very good friend and I want the best for you.
He says, I know it's not my job to be your protector.
Yeah, and
That's
then
some other
maybe
guy's
somebody
job.
else,
And it's like,
yeah.
ugh, okay. And he says, but I just think of myself as your very, very good friend and I want nothing but the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Very intimate.
Very intimate. And Jasmine ultimately says that, that I'm a very passionate person. I'm very, very outwardly emotional and you're just cautious and that's just who you are, and I think that's just always going to be what the disconnect was for us. So
Which
it's
is
just
still
like,
brutal every time you say
Yeah.
it. It is never not going to be brutal. You're too boring.
yeah.
You just don't, you're
So
like,
safe.
You're so safe. I want a danger boy like Mikkel. He rides a hog.
You know what I did think about? So Chris became very fixated on the fact that he was weird, and that was fine because Jasmine was looking for somebody that was kind of weird too. And I thought, oh well, that's Mikkel.
Like, Mikkel's a weird dude.
Mikkel's kind of weird.
He did couch it, and he was like, wasn't looking for my kind of different. It's like, no, looking for Mikkel's kind of different.
Yeah.
Looking for this, like, shy helicopter man who turns into a helicopter when he eats spicy food.
The kind of... Wait, I like that.
It's true.
That's like a great children's TV show.
And it was. That was a show called Turbo Teen, where a boy would eat spicy food and he'd turn into like a sleek sports car.
This is like the second time you've talked about Turbo Teen.
It's the 50th time I've talked about it across the whole McElroy podcast empire.
How did I totally miss this show that existed?
I think they only made 8 episodes of it.
When was this? Give me an approximate year.
If I told you a year right now, it would be a fucking lie, baby. And you don't want me to lie.
You don't remember? See, I always think about how old I was, and then I can remember the year.
I don't think I ever watched Turbo Teen. It's just it's a funny cultural relic. You're looking at me in disbelief. There was a child's TV show where a boy would eat spicy food and he would turn into a car. That's the craziest. I'm a boy who turns into a car. That's weird. Where does your butt go? Does it turn into the back seats?
What about Transformers, Griffin?
Transformers is not... Transformers is not a boy. His fucking head, baby, when he transforms into a car, stretches outwards to the side and his eyes turn into the fucking headlights. It's my flesh has become car. My intestines is now the tailpipe. Like, that's crazy that this flesh boy turns into a car. And his method of doing it is he eats spicy food. I've never seen an episode of this show, but what is that? Like, you eat a buffalo wing when, like, the bad guys come to town and vroom, I'm a car. Well, fuck. They're just bad guys. Now I'm a car.
This is very indicative of the McElroy shared brain. So you've never seen this show.
Absolutely not.
But it has become a big touchstone for you because
Yes.
the McElroys as a whole...
No. It has become a big touchstone for me because it's about a boy who transforms into a car when he eats spicy food.
Did Justin or Travis watch this show?
Probably. They have absolute garbage taste. And they always have. They always have.
Okay.
It's probably Travis's favorite show. That's not true. Travis's favorite show is Gallivant.
What, what about Boy Meets World?
That's his second favorite show. I love that show. That show didn't feature any boys that would transform into cars when they ate spicy food, which was always a challenge for me. It's always a challenge for me when I watch... We started watching Terrace House. It's great. It's so disappointing that none of them turn into cars when they eat spicy food.
Yeah.
Well, what can you do?
I mean, nothing, I guess.
There's nothing you can do.
Okay. I don't even know how to get back to talking about this show now.
Well, let me eat some spicy food and I'll turn into a car and you can drive back onto the plot.
Is this why you don't eat spicy food? It's not a digestive thing? It's like because you're
it's
afraid?
absolutely a digestive thing.
Okay.
And I do still eat spicy food.
Okay.
It makes me very ill.
So now the guys that are sitting up in the bleachers get a chance to ask Jasmine questions.
For no joke, 90 seconds?
Yeah. This was an hour.
This was an hour.
On the American version. And people would ask a question, and if the question seemed to have enough weight, Chris would call them up, and they'd get their own turn on the hot seat. But this is just like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, it was just like Crazy Frog. I agree.
I don't know what that is either.
You remember fucking Crazy Frog? It was everybody's ringtone for a while, and it was just the guy who's like, ming, 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 ming. You just made me do fucking Crazy Frog on a podcast. This is entrapment. You don't remember that? I'm gonna fucking pull up Crazy Frog.
I feel like some kind of space alien right now because
you seem like a space alien. You don't know Turbo Teen. You don't know Crazy Frog.
I feel like a real Laura Lee lawyer.
Oh, babe, you're supposed to remind me to book a hair appointment.
I'm sorry, I didn't do that. We've been talking about Jasmine for a while now, and you didn't even think about the hair appointment.
Crazy Frog. Well, they only have, so the Crazy Frog has also done, like, songs, but, like, there's just, like, he has his own classic sort of, okay, here we go. You're gonna love this. It's Crazy Frog. Crazy Frog.
And people wanted that.
People loved Crazy Frog. People loved Crazy Frog. Everybody listening to this podcast at home right now is like, Crazy Frog. Babe, do you remember Crazy Frog? And their significant other's like, no, I don't remember Crazy Frog. And they're like, oh, I can tell you about Crazy Frog. Hold on. And then they play it on their podcast.
Okay. Well, I've learned a lot today. And I can't say that I'm grateful for it. But thank you.
You loved, you baby, you used to love Crazy Frog.
No.
You used to love Crazy Frog. You'd come home from work and you'd be like, so sad. And I'd be like, what happened? And you're like, I don't even want to talk about it. And I'd be like, no. I'd do it for you. I'd do the whole thing.
And I like that.
You loved it, baby.
Okay.
And then I do the hamster dance.
You know what I do know? I know the banana that does peanut butter jelly time. Is that a similar thing?
Who's that? What's his story? Why is it banana? Let's please.
Okay, so let me just go through the questions the boys asked.
Do it, because they were slam dunks.
Drew hops in first, as is his custom, and apologizes for the things he said, specifically when he left the show, because he knew that those are the bad things. And she's like, well, I don't exactly know whether to trust your apology, but it's big of you to say that, so thank you.
Jasmine, fucking crushing it. Well, she's like, yeah, because you showed me so many sides during the TV show. I don't know whether you're being true or not, but like, you're kind of laying yourself down in front of Canada right now, so I guess I appreciate that.
And then Noah's like, I don't know why, it feels natural, but I'm going to go straight from Drew to Chris. Chris, do you have any questions? And Chris is like, do you understand now why I called out Drew, and made it a point to say those things to you? Because Chris thinks, as was easy to think, that he got sent home because he tattled on Drew.
Yeah.
Because it happened right after that. And Jasmine's like, no, that's not why I sent you home. Like, it was always a positive thing to me that you said something, and you were the only one looking out for me, and I appreciated that. So Chris gets serious vindication here.
Yeah, sure.
Like, thank you for
we
telling
gave
me.
him shit, I feel like, when that episode happened, because he didn't do it very well.
Well, he didn't follow the rules. He didn't rally a posse to like...
But it's crazy that we like called him out for that, when it's like, yeah, that's true. He was the only person that went to her and was like, we were thinking of it like a sportsmanship, like, you're not going to win the game now. Tattlers never win the game. And I actually feel bad about that. We're like, Chris, you tattled, now you're going to lose. But really, like, you are actually telling this woman, like, hey, this dude that is here sucks.
I know. Well, so the problem is now we're like franchise wonks, and we're like, here are the rules.
What do you do? Oh, I'm a
bachelorette
wonk.
The thing is that if you are going to call somebody out, you need to have at least, 2 to 3 other people that are going to be like, yeah, no, that is true, and I agree.
Yeah.
And Chris didn't do that hard work. So that's why he lost the election.
God.
Benoit asked if his passion was too much. And this is when Jasmine gets in the little burn on Seth. And it's like,
fuck, this was good.
If I didn't like your kiss, you would have known about it. You saw how I was with Seth.
And even Noah was like, oh!
Yeah. Shots fired, I think is what Noah said.
Fuck, that was good.
And then we get some bloopers.
Oh, these bloopies were good, too.
Jasmine...
You know who these bloopies were good for? Kevin... Still active Kevin W.
Oh, Kevin W. Yeah, Kevin W.
Kevin W. was super funny.
Seemed to be a funny person, which
we don't
nice
get that much
see.
charisma from Kevin on the show. Although we've seen it a couple of times. I feel like in stuff like this, like in the credits bloopers that you get sometimes, I've really come around on Kevin. I actually like that dude a lot now because I've been thinking about him a lot through the lens of American Bachelor, where I would be like in love with him. I would think he was the best dude.
I don't know if that's true,
but
though.
I also recognize that like I have this tendency to be like, yeah, Mikkel is kind of a like oddball, right? He's kind of like he's a soft boy. He's a soft boy, and he's like kind of geeky, and I love him. But I think that's just because like I always root for the
soft boys,
and like the funny weirdo boys.
Well, because it's easiest to tell that they're there to find love.
That's
you know?
true, but I definitely feel that way about Kevin now too. I
Kevin
feel like
doesn't have the tools that Mikkel has.
Kevin doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have like the emotional tools that he has either. But like some of the stuff he's done, like I see it and I'm like, wow, he is actually here. Like he's here for all the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not necessarily saying like I'm rooting for him over Mikkel, but like I could really see it going either way, and I don't think I would be too, upset or confused about it.
Only if, and this is the other thing that got brought up in the Rose Buddies group, if maybe Mikkel doesn't win, but becomes the next Bachelor.
Yeah, I would watch that. That's actually, I don't know if we're gonna keep watching this show if we're not covering it on this podcast. That would do it. That would get. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Mikkel, shy, sweet little Mikkel inside of his little egg
And
that I
then
just want to incubate him.
We finally get to see him in a helicopter then,
That
which
would
is
be nice.
all that we've wanted.
Yeah, he turns into fucking Stefan Urkel in a helicopter. Just him, his little shy little body, just like macking on like 20 women. Oh my God.
He's in like a hot
please.
tub with like 3 ladies just like trying out some material.
I think it's a win-win. I think he wins and he's, they're in love forever, or I get just a really fucking good, strong season of The Bachelor Canada. When does The Bachelor Canada even happen? What time of year is that?
I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So in the bloopers, we get to see some great stuff. We get to see a lot of the boys dancing, which is fun, including Noah.
I think half of this season was just boys dancing for
Yeah.
other boys, which I love.
And then Jasmine getting really nervous about having to pee all the time.
I saw this. I was like, me and Jasmine, I think we could be best friends. Because Rachel knows. Rachel's 37 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
And I still think I pee
Griffin
more
still
than
pees
you.
more than me. Yeah, it's incredible. But Griffin brought up the point, and I think it's a good one. He works from home. He never has to hold it.
Never. I don't have the,
He doesn't have
he
have the muscles that most of us have because we go out in the world and have to hold it sometimes.
Joking aside, like all of the supercut of Jasmine saying she had to pee, she had this embarrassment that like when we were shooting the Bim Bam show, like I didn't pee less while we were making the TV show, and so like every time you do that, you're like, hey, fucking 40 people who are trying to do your job right now, I'm gonna make you stop while I go and make a wee in the toilet. There's nothing more. You have to let everybody know. I think we talked about 10-1s, 10-2.
Oh, yeah.
But like it's really humiliating to be like, hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'll be in there a while because it's Dookie this time.
After the show was over, did you guys all go out and get 10-1 tattoos?
No, but I would. I would.
I don't know that I even want to ask this question.
No, you do.
We don't have to go down this path, but are there male Kegels? Because for ladies, there are exercises you can do to increase the strength of your pelvic floor, which helps you not have to, it helps you better control your bladder muscles. And so I'm wondering if there's an exercise maybe that you should do.
There is.
To help you.
They're called.
Uh-oh.
They're called Deagles.
Okay, I'm backing out. I don't want to know.
Now, let me tell you all about it. It's like Kegels, but for your wiener. Wiener Kegels. Deagles,
Is that where you think your bladder is?
Yeah, I mean, that's where it has to go through. I mean, all Kegels are like forming a muscle that is like, hey, P, not get your damn hands off her.
George McFly of muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for Deagles are just, I imagine, like you just sort of learn how to flex and control your meatus.
Your what?
Oh, baby. Read a health book.
Okay.
I'm Googling meatus right now to make sure it is what I think it is.
How do you spell that?
Like meat, like food, and then us, like US. God, I can't unload the crazy frog. My Google searches for this past fucking 50 minutes are complete garbage. Yes, the urethral meatus.
Wow, Griffin, good work.
I know what's going on down there. Anyway, yeah. I whip my meatus back and forth, and it keeps the pee inside.
So that's our show. After the bloopers, we get a preview of the finale.
It's very dramatic.
It's hard to tell. There seems to be a lot of doubt between Kevin and Jasmine because of their tumultuous relationship.
Yeah, a lot of meatus talk. Just like a lot of meatus talk.
A lot. It almost sounds like you're saying migas, which is a delicious breakfast treat.
Well, that's what they call it in Canada.
And Mikkel, I mean, things seem good with Mikkel in the clips. I don't know.
There's a lot of Kevin's anxiety, and he's like, I'm not just going to get up and leave. And she's like, you have done that twice.
And then it shows him kind of getting nervous in front of the crew, being like, just let her pick him and whatever.
And I'll go on and I'll be fine. Like, yeah, it's going to be fucking
And
good.
then they show both of them walking out in their suits, but you can't tell what time of day
it's
it
about
is.
the same time of day, yeah. God, I wish we could find a way to watch it night of.
I know. It's not meant to be.
I don't think it's possible.
Well, it's not like we'll run into a bunch of internet spoilers.
No, I know, but there's a lot of people who watch it in real time. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, next week, finale. Super excited. It'll be up. We got to find a way to do it because
Thanksgiving.
Otherwise, it's Thanksgiving, and I don't want to put up the finale on Thanksgiving. I don't think anybody wants to listen to that. Also, I'm also putting up Till Death Do Us Blart on
Well, you know
Thanksgiving.
what we'll do? We'll put it up. We'll put it up the day after Thanksgiving.
Or Wednesday, if we can do it.
People can listen to it while they're Black Friday shopping.
Yeah, that might be fun. No, I think we could do it Wednesday. I could get it up Wednesday night. Just like as soon as we record it, like, yeah.
Immediately put it up
Y'all
later
shouldn't
that
have
night.
to hear these programming notes, but yeah, we could do that.
We should also say, so as mentioned earlier, I am 37 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, so this show could just fucking vanish at any point.
You will, of course, hear from us. If the episode is late, don't automatically assume that we have delivered a baby.
We love y'all very much, and we're gonna try and keep the feed updated.
Yeah, we have some ideas.
We have some ideas for stuff that we want to do
for filler eps that are easier for us to do.
Yeah,
but we haven't.
We just ask you to be patient
anything.
because I think this show more than like I've got stuff prepped for all the podcasts for when the baby gets here. This one's just going to be tough because we will actually have the baby in this house and it's just us.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And also just this, like, I put down this blanket warning for all the podcasts. This one's just going to get way less funny once we have the baby. It's just like,
I don't think that's true.
It's true. It's going to be just all home improvement humor.
No. I feel very strongly that men in particular use having a child as an excuse to dumb down their humor and make, quote, dad jokes. And I am making a stand here to say I will not allow dad jokes.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Griffin McElroy.
I'm Rachel McElroy.
When you're ready. It's Crazy Frog. You love Crazy Frog.
Final rose. Stay with us on this journey of joy.
Spoiler alert.
She ends up with Soldier Boy.
Right reasons, can't get enough. All